At 93 years old, legendary newsman Dan Rather, the man who once sat behind the anchor desk at CBS Evening News delivering history-defining moments to millions of Americans, now lives a life that is nothing short of astonishing because while most of his peers from the golden age of television journalism have quietly faded into retirement, Rather has reinvented himself in ways no one could have predicted, embracing a lifestyle that is equal parts inspiring, unconventional, and downright unbelievable, proving that age is only a number when you refuse to let go of your passions, and those who once knew him as the serious, buttoned-up face of hard news are often stunned when they see the life he leads today. A life filled with creativity, resilience, and energy that puts younger generations to shame, because instead of retreating into obscurity, Rather became one of the most unlikely social media stars of the 21st century, building an online presence where his thoughtful commentary, poetic reflections, and fearless critiques draw millions of followers, showing that his voice is as relevant now as it was when he stood in the chaos of Dallas reporting on President Kennedy's assassination or stared down the camera during Watergate. But beyond his digital renaissance, what shocks fans most is the way he spends his days, with a routine that blends old-school discipline and modern curiosity, waking up early to read voraciously, writing every single day, and staying mentally sharper than men half his age, while also finding time to nurture his deep love for music, often spending hours listening to classical symphonies or country ballads, sometimes even strumming a guitar himself, a hobby few knew he had. And perhaps the most insane part of his life at 93 is his physical stamina, because Rather insists on walking long distances daily, refusing to rely on canes or wheelchairs. And while most men his age battle ailments that keep them housebound, he travels frequently, still attending lectures, speaking engagements, and even concerts, delighting fans who are stunned to see the broadcasting legend mingling with young crowds as if he were decades younger. And though he officially stepped away from nightly news nearly 2 decades ago, he never stopped being a journalist at heart, continuing to write books, produce documentaries, and offer pointed observations about politics and culture, and his sharp wit and refusal to play it safe have earned him both admiration and controversy. But at his core, Rather is the same fearless reporter who once risked his life covering wars overseas. And now, at 93, he channels that same courage into living boldly, with no apologies. And when people ask him the secret to his insane vitality, he credits curiosity, discipline, and a refusal to stop learning, saying that as long as he wakes up eager to understand the world, he knows he's still alive in the truest sense. And so while some marvel at his longevity, others simply marvel at his refusal to slow down, because Dan Rather at 93 isn't quietly waiting for the end. He's teaching, writing, laughing, and living louder than ever. And in doing so, he has become an unlikely role model not just for journalists, but for anyone who fears growing old, showing that the truly insane thing about his life is how extraordinary it is to keep burning with purpose long after the cameras stopped rolling.